And we've got breaking news right now from our Fox News polling unit. A new low for President Obama's approval rating. This is just in, literally, from Fox News Opinion Dynamics polling. This is the first look we're getting at this. On everything from health care to military action against Iran, the president's approval ratings not that great. This one is perhaps the biggest news. It shows a 43% job approval for the commander-in-chief, 43%. And our polling unit tells us that is not just a new low for the Fox News polling. It is a new low, they believe, for all polling. A CBS poll put his approval rating at 44% recently. This now 43% and 48% disapproving of the president's performing according to these latest numbers. Chris Wallace is the anchor of Fox News Sunday. He joins me to put some perspective on this. Chris, obviously, if this is, in fact, the lowest number that we've seen in President Obama's term, it's not good news for the White House, but it's something. Could they turn it around?
Oh, sure. I mean, can they turn it around? Yeah. But the real significance of this, Megyn, is this is the first poll since that Fox News has done since the big health care reform bill was passed. And if you look at the internal numbers inside on health care reform, it really has not moved the needle at all. And in fact, if anything, it has gone the wrong way. You've got to remember, the key to a midterm election is turnout. You're not going to get the big turnout you get in a presidential election year. So the real key is you've got to mobilize more of your base than the other guys mobilize of their base. And let me just give you a number. This is now post-health care reform. 50% of Democrats say they're very interested in this election. 69% of Republicans say they're very interested in this election. 39% of Democrats say they're more likely to vote for somebody, a Democrat, who supported health care reform. For Republicans, 70% said they're less likely to vote for somebody who supported health care reform. So you're not getting that big a bounce from the Democrats, but you're getting a big bounce of Republicans in opposition to health care reform. In terms of the battle for turnout, the idea of a more mobilized opposition that is even more mobilized in opposition to what you just did is not good news for any party. We saw
a small bounce for the president when it comes to the overall approval ratings of the health care law, though. It's not huge, but it's there. It says now 39% of those polled say that they favor the health care reform, 54% oppose. That's up the favorability rating by 4% from before the vote. So 4% more people like that health care bill now that it's become law. The Democrats are hoping that with several more months between now and November, they can jack that number up even higher as people start to feel what they say will be the good effects of the law.
Well, yes. I mean, they certainly are going to hope, and you can't make a straight line projection from early April to what's going to happen in early November. On the other hand, it's pretty hard to spin, even if it is a little bit better, a 38% approval rating of your major domestic priority. Last time I looked, 38% isn't going to get the job done. And the other really interesting thing, and this also goes back to job approval, Megyn, independents. Now, they're not as important in in midterm elections as they are on general elections. As I say, it's much more about mobilizing your base. But we talked about the president's overall approval rating is 43%.
Right.
Among independents, it's 38%. Again, that's a really poor numbers. And there's going to be a massive job that's going to have to be done to turn around support for the president, support for the Democrats, support for health care reform. Interestingly enough, incidentally, and I'm sure you've got this in your series of charts, as much as we have talked about health care reform, the economy is still far and away the top priority of voters on both Republicans and Democrats and independents. So it's going to be much more a vote in November about the economy and people's sense of the security of their job than it is going to be about health care. But health care has not moved the needle in a positive direction, at least so far.
Yeah, the voters have been telling us all along that the economy is the most important thing to them. Chris Wallace, thank you so much for putting it in perspective for us. And you can catch Chris Wallace on Fox News Sunday. Just check your local listings and make sure to make it appointment television. If you can't watch it, TiVo it like I do. Thanks, Chris.